Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Lionel. Hey, I'm your host for LT Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. We are covering Sisters. This is season 7, episode 3. I am a little bit late. I do apologize. I do appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and also leave your comments below. You can share this video too. I think I already said leave your comments, but whatever. All right, so we start with Fatima and Andy. They're talking about Gary and all that good stuff. We know that Gary is being investigated by FBI. All the partners have pulled out of his business, really calling foul play. And Fatima's just questioning her, what involvement were you with Gary and everything. It's really, Gary has financed her lifestyle, meaning home and all that good stuff. So that could be all in question. But everything is in Andy's name. So possibly she couldn't go down, but also they could go down, especially if they want to ask, where these funds came from. Where did the funds go to as far as feeding into your lifestyle? So Hayden comes by, and of course, everybody's giving this nice Nancy. Hayden feels like he's in the clear with the FBI because he told the FBI everything that he was involved with Gary. With him and Gary, he says that everything was legit. I don't know about that, but whatever. He just says, I don't have nothing to worry about, but it looks like Andy, you will be an easy target. As soon as a lot of these partners start finding or trying to figure out who to put the blame on, it's going to be you, since you've had quite an intimate involvement and a close involvement with this dude. So they strike up this deal of, I won't mention you and you won't mention me type of deal at all if they're questioned any further. Then Fatima and Andy go and get her story straight. All right, so we move on to Danny and Tony. Danny is up cleaning like a racehorse. A lot has to do with just her being nervous about this therapy session. And then, at least in the Black family, that they're going to clean up, make sure everything looks right and presentable, so that people can't talk about you. Well, of course, Tony is awakened because she's up here just vacuuming away. Like, hey, are you going to be okay? It's really not dirty up in here, blah, 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 blah. So Tony was like, look, everything will be okay. Just give this person a chance. Danny said, well, I gave you a chance and I was open with you. So I don't know about all that. But he also says, text Karen and let her know congratulations on her opening. Please give me a call later on today. Now, this is what was going on online because everybody misses Preston, Cowboy, and I do too. They're thinking, well, Tony did it all wrong. They don't really like Tony because Tony would have stayed there during the therapy session and held her hand and helped ask questions and all of that. I think that's cool, but possibly this is a more grown-up approach that Danny has to take, where she has to actually want it on her own. And it's no disrespect to Preston, but possibly you did smother her too much and babied her enough. I mean, she's still not open and she still can't, she's not functioning at where she needs to be. I think you've done a great job with her. However, possibly this is her time to grow up some more. That's my opinion. Karen and Pam, they're at the shop. Of course, this is the day of the grand opening, and all of a sudden the power goes out. Then the realtor Shauna comes in and lets them know that her auto pay payment did not go through. And she said, I know that can't be at all an issue. Later on, she checks out. When Karen was like, I can pay you tomorrow. She said, well, no, if you need power today, it's not going to work. So now she's going to transfer funds from her personal account to her account, to her business account, to make sure everything goes okay. The next scene, Gary is calling Hayden and asking him basically to help him out. And basically Hayden said, I'm not doing that for you. I'm not getting caught up in your games and all this good stuff. And then he hangs up the phone and says, I don't have time for you also. All of a sudden, we see his ex-girlfriend, Tamara. Now, I don't know anything about Tamara because I wasn't watching. She gave a little brief synopsis of her being a spy to try to nail Hayden in all of his mess that he had going on. But now she's trying to get back in his good graces. She's saying, I didn't think I was going to have feelings for you. She's trying to seduce him. So I don't know what actually happened in his office because it wasn't shown in the episode, but I don't know if he gave in or what. Danny and the therapist, they're talking. Every time the therapist would ask a question, she would follow up with asking a question. And the therapist was like, you really don't have to have this defense mechanism of answering a question with a question. And she was like, oh, okay. Basically, relax. Danny really she didn't give her attitude, but basically she says, I really don't think that I need therapy. And the therapist said, okay, so how, and she said, well, who recommended you therapy? My friends, my guy. And she said, well, how long have you been in a relationship with your friends? And are you a tight core group? And they said, yes. She said, well, maybe they recognize some things within you that you cannot see. And she said, give me a call whenever you're ready, even if you just want to talk. And Danny basically said, okay. And she sees her out. So basically no therapy. Sabrina and Rich. Rich comes to the bank after the whole give me your sperm. He came up to her teller line and basically said, I want to let you know I'm not mad. I was confused, but not mad. And basically because how the day was going and the other white lady was trying to say, you need to move this along. He said, come by the juice bar a little bit later. And she agrees to do that. Karen, Pam, and the delivery guy. The delivery guy comes back to pick up all the stuff that Pam was purchasing. What happened is Pam spent too much money. So she's returning all that stuff, and Karen has also cut off access to Pam to actually purchasing anything else for the store. I don't know why she's got all this claim to the business. Karen, this is your business, and unless you approve of some type of whatever, those expenses should have came out of Pam's pocket. So Trey comes back. He's still trying to ease his way into Karen so that possibly they can go out and all that good stuff. He's just letting her know that he's interested. Pam's trying to encourage it, but Karen's acting like she don't want it, but she really do want it. Karen. All right, so Danny shows up late to the grand opening. Before the grand opening started. Karen's like, well, you guys were supposed to be here to set up and da-da-da-da-da. Where's Andy? I think Danny said or asked or whatever. Whoever asked. She said, I don't know. You can ask her friend Fatima. There's been this rift since Fatima got into the group, basically. I think that there's less drama when it comes to having Fatima around versus Karen, because last episode, Karen said that Fatima was jealous, but it looks like you are because your slip is showing, ma'am. The ladies all come in one by one, and they're basically unloading about their drama that's going on in their day. And Karen said, we're not doing this today. It was a whole lot more lighter for you when you were at brunch with Fatima. And they was like, oh, so this is what this is all about? No, this is not what it's all about. It's what it's all about, Danny was saying. Danny was going to always stay on Karen's neck. She says, I'm not really feeling love at this moment. And she said, either you're going to smile, be happy, or leave. I don't blame her for that. I don't. So Zach shows up at the shop. He does not go in. He's in his car. He's trying to practice what he wants to say, but also try to get a paternity test. Miss Lisa, Karen's mother, says, what are you doing here? I said, well, I'm just really trying to show support. And she says, really, you just need to, she needs somebody that's going to be there for her and not send mixed signals. I agree, because it's going to be an endless triangle of nothing, and somebody's always going to get hurt, and Karen is the one that unfortunately going to get hurt the most. So she convinces Zach, no, just go on and text her, don't give her the flowers and all that good stuff, blah, 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 blah. So he leaves. That was great advice. Gary and Penelope, they meet up again. Of course, he's pulling all the lies and stuff at this point against her and just being stupid, even though he knows that he's being investigated right now. So he came up with this plot right on the spot. he poured all this water on Penelope. So Penelope got distracted and had to go to the bathroom to clean herself up. While she was in there, Dirty Gary ended up taking photos of all her credit cards. So now you're gonna steal from your woman that is some low down dirty stuff. I don't know how Tyler created this character, but he is insane. But I really believe that there are some Garys out there. What you guys think? So, all right, so now we're back to the grand opening, re-grand opening, or whatever you want to call it. Karen cuts the ribbon. The girls ended up giving Karen a gift, and they apologized. And then Karen was mad about Zach not showing up. But she didn't want her there. So they were like, so you didn't want him there? Like, no, you wanted him there, Sabrina says. Fatima calls and Andy says, I got an emergency at my work. I have to go, blah, 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 blah. Sabrina goes to Rich's juice space, and they talk a little bit. We find out a little back history. Rich does not want children whatsoever. He was the oldest of, I think, 7 or 8 children, and he had to raise his brothers and sisters, and he doesn't want that responsibility anymore. Sabrina, she's in conflict, and now she thinks that she wants to make it work with this guy. And I don't really think it's going to work, because they ask, you want to still try to date? She's like, I guess. I mean, she's going to take on this relationship. And I don't know, Sabrina, because if you're not fulfilled just trying to make it work with a man, I don't think it's going to work for you. So I don't know what you're going to do, but I don't think Rich is your guy, especially if you really want a child. Let's see. So Fatima and Zach. He comes home, he got these flowers, and Fatima's like, oh, who's these flowers for? And they were for, he says it's for Karen. It's like, and she's like, well, what for? For the grand opening. I was going to try to soften her up to try to get this paternity test. And she's like, well, why did you do it on this day? Yes, we got to get it done, but not in this way. And then all of a sudden, Fatima was all shady and stuff with these ugly flowers. Start calling them ugly when it was a nice, when she thought it was for her, it was a nice gesture and all that good stuff. So I like that type of Fatima. But she said, well, when you do see Karen, don't ever bring those flowers to her. And da-da-da-da-da. Fatima tells Zach about Gary. I liked Zach's shirt in this episode. Loved it. He tries to call Gary. Gary won't answer his phone calls. I wonder if this is going to tie into Zactima. Because, last season, Zach lost all his money. I don't know if that's what it's all about, but we're going to see. Yeah, because Fatima's like, you got to put boundaries between you two. You can't be just doing the same thing over and over again. Finally, some people talking healthy, not getting jealous, mad, fighting. No, we need to come to resolution and to be adults in this whole situation. So Gary and his assistant, Gary is griping that nobody is helping him out. Hayden and Andy, da-da-da-da-da. Basically, he wants to take Andy down at this moment. The assistant was somehow able to forge and get Gary's name on Penelope's life insurance, and he's also on all of Penelope's bank accounts. This man, my God, he is quite low down. So back at the office, Andy comes back. Andy says that what she's come up is that she's never had any business dealings with him. It was a consensual relationship, and that was that. And Fatima said, I don't think that they're going to really fall for that. Anyways, Mr. Barnes, one of the partners or whatever, basically he did his homework, and she's been found out. He knows that she was funded by Gary with those funds and all that, and he's going to tell the board. At the same time, he's hyperventilating, and it looks like possibly he had a heart attack or stroke. So it's like, oh my Lord, come on and give us some soap opera mess on this show. But that's how the episode ended. Please tell me your thoughts below. Again, I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please like and subscribe to this channel, and you can also share this video. Until next time, peace.